Everybody, welcome to Snow Talk. Brian Good here on this lovely Tuesday. We'll start off with the current profile, then we'll get into the long term. Fairly short video today, but with several things we want to cover. Snow stats, as you see at the bottom, haven't changed any, by the way. They usually don't until we get more into December. Okay, 49 now. South wind at 16 miles per hour. It's really going to do a number on us today and getting us into a very comfortable range, close to 60, it looks like, this afternoon. Given the dew point right now, only right around the upper 20s, there's a chance we could overachieve. We won't even go over 60. Either way, clouds rolling in now. These are high-level clouds. We had the first batch this morning. More will roll in later today. Than the actual front, which is back there in northern areas of Illinois, will arrive this evening. A lot of that rain should dry up. Now, I did account a very small chance, you'll notice in the Wave 3 weather app, for some of this moisture to linger, because as it pivots to the southeast, this is going to be the moisture corridor with the front as it tracks in. So there could be some sprinkles that may survive up the 71 corridor as it passes on by, and then more of a flurry sprinkle action further north into Ohio. But again, the southern part of that should begin to really dry up as it swings to the southeast. That's why it's not expecting a lot of moisture, but it will drop us down temperature-wise. So let's get right ahead to what we're looking at. We don't have a blocking setup in place, so the warmth and the cold is very transient. Moves in, moves out, moves in, moves out, moves in, moves out. Not exactly a zonal flow, but pretty close to it at the same time. So we do cool down the small amount of blocking there is, and that is significant. But these are fairly quick-hitting events that are happening. Here's the first one moving in tonight, and here's the one coming in for the weekend. This is the GFS, it's ensemble. Here's the Euro, and here's the Canadian. All of them agree on moving in for this weekend, and so do the ensembles. So it will move in. It's a weird deal, by the way, on Saturday, because really the front, the shift changer, the wind shift changer, will kick in more toward late Friday night, early Saturday. But there's a secondary front that has the cold air with it, and that will not move in until Saturday evening. So I still think we have a chance to get it in well into the 50s on Saturday before that second front moves in and drops the numbers. All right, then in the next week we go, around the 29th and 30th. GFS, a little deeper with that one rolling in. Euro, not so much. We lose the Canadian data on this model, but you can see the ensemble's not too thrilled either. So really, the Euro has more support than anything. Still, it could be a windy system. It could get us to around 60 again, and we may have some rain with it as it passes on by, but I don't think it's going to have a lot with it. And it'll have a little cool blast with it, but nothing dramatic. And then we have another one slated for the beginning of next month. Don't have the Euro data on it, but as far as looking at GFS, it's once again showing it, although it's a little blocky here, almost like an omega block kind of forming, so it may try to cut the low off in the model, so it's going to be hard to trust GFS down the road here, as it usually is. But you see the general idea of the ensembles is for a trough to move in beginning of December. So when you look at the setup on the snowboard, I do have a chance with that one in early December that could produce a rain to flurry deal. That's about it, guys. Anything more substantial, if you will, as far as any snow action on the backside of these troughs to show up, it's not going to show up this far out, even on the snowboard within 14 days. It's going to be such a small scale feature, that we won't see it until the very close-up range. So not too worried about it, but I don't see anything alarming right now, or any excitement either for the snow lovers. I guess I should reverse the thinking on that. But we'll keep an eye on the trends, guys. Very much an up-and-down pattern. That's the story. So what could happen? Well, we want the NAL for sure to go negative. And when you look at the white dots, the black outline, that's the most recent run of the Euro. You want it to go south of this dark line as we head into December. And it's there, but it's awful close to neutral as well. You can see the past several runs of it, which are the previous colors, have been fluctuating. Some positive, some negative, and it's kind of like balancing out. Even the GFS and the NAO, it's very much a neutral idea. So there's not a lot of strong blocking that is showing up in the models, at least through the end of the month. And the Arctic Oscillation, you want that to be negative. It too is kind of just iffy. Even the PNA, you want it to go away positive. It's kind of iffy. GFS a little more so, which is, can explain why it has a little more of that troughiness down the road. It's picking up on that idea. But really, guys, there's not a lot of excitement showing up within the range here. So what could happen? Well, a lot of you have been asking questions about lately about the QBL, which we've talked about it before. Quasi biennial, the oscillation, the QBO, quasi biennial oscillation. I can't get it right. I can't talk today. It's the better name for it is really the stratospheric warming that takes place, which we talk about often. It's when you have the winds aloft, that are, come on, pencil. The winds aloft that are commonly coming in from the west begin to slacken off and begin to reverse and come from the east. And when you have that happen, you get stratospheric warming that happens way up high and way up in the higher latitudes, and you get the displacement of the polar vortex. Now, what we can do, the QBL is a way to measure that potential for us to get stratospheric warming and to see if we get that easterly flow to back things up, and that's usually how we get our cold setup. And when we look at the chart, it is going certainly negative. In fact, our values for November are coming in at negative 16, almost negative 17, and we've been negative for the past few months. The last time we had that to that level, now it was pretty extreme in 2012 into 13. We had that take place, and we had the polar vortex, got its name well known. Same story for 13 into 14. You all remember that. And also 14 into 15, I should say there. And then as we head into 2007 and 2008, 2005 into 2006, were some of the more extreme ones. Now, we're not to that level, so we're matched more closely to, I would say, 2000 to 2001, which was actually, if you remember, December of 2000 was a cold December, and a cold and snowy one, too, for our area. So this is why, this is some of that support we've been talking about the past few days, that we're seeing signs of some stratospheric warming coming into play as we head into the month of December, which should allow for the polar vortex to get displaced. So where's it going to go? Well, the key factor in that will come into play with other oscillations, including the NAO and the PNA, all that stuff we have to look at. It's kind of like you are playing Plinko, if you will. If the chip comes down, you just got to figure out which way is it going to go or how it's going to tip. And there are ways for us to know that, but usually not within a 2-week window or beyond a 2-week window. We have to get within 2 weeks to kind of get an idea of where this bowl is going to slosh, and that gives us an idea of how things are trend for us. The models are the only way to tell that right now. So when the models are showing cold weather coming in December and parts of January, they're picking up on that idea that it's going to slosh in our favor for cold weather, but we don't know that for sure. That's something we just have to take 1 week at a time. But at least a good amount of support, certainly different than the last couple of winters have been. And for you snow lovers, that's certainly good news to hear. We'll see how it plays out, guys. Stay tuned.